All right, we're diving into something truly wild today. It's a project that sits right at the intersection of psychology, artificial intelligence, and, well, the biggest questions we have about what it even means to be human. But let me just start by asking you this. What if your entire way of thinking, your emotional state, your very sense of who you are could totally shift, not over years, but in the time it takes you to drink your morning coffee? Now, that sounds like something out of a movie, right? But it's not. It's the core finding from a project that proved this radical idea not with brain scans or in some sterile lab, but by analyzing thousands of pages from a private journal. This is the story of the Mind AI project, and it starts by taking our most basic assumption that we are a stable self and just throwing it out the window. So this leads us to our first really big idea, this concept of a quantum mind. And the journey to this discovery, believe it or not, began with something incredibly simple: a pen and a whole lot of paper. Get this, the entire experiment is built on a foundation of 11,000 pages of handwritten journals. And they all came from just one person, writing consistently over 6 years. But we need to be really clear here. This 11,000-page archive, it's not just a diary. You should think of it more like a continuous data stream, like a live feed from a single human consciousness, captured over 6 straight years. The person writing this wasn't doing it for an audience. They were just capturing their thoughts as they happened. And that gives us something incredibly rare. This isn't a performance of a self, it's the raw source code of consciousness itself, and it documents a complete transformation from depression all the way to joy. And this is what makes the whole project a complete game changer. So much of traditional psychology, it relies on these artificial lab settings, or asking people to remember how they felt, which we all know our memories can get distorted. This data, though, it's real-time, it's totally unfiltered, and it captures the messy day-to-day mechanics of how a mind actually changes over years. So you've got 11,000 pages. It's impossible for any human to really analyze that effectively. So the researcher turned to a new kind of partner, a completely new kind of mind, to try and make sense of it all. And the process itself was surprisingly simple. A sample of the journals was fed to a large language model. Then it was given a prompt to basically turn it into a world-class psychologist. Its task was simple: tell me what you see. And in doing that, the AI became this powerful cognitive mirror, able to see these profound patterns that were invisible even to the person who wrote the words in the first place. And the results were, they were staggering. The AI didn't just spot clinical patterns, it showed this deep, almost humane level of understanding. At one point, when it was asked to act like a best friend, it wrote this note. It just goes to show it could grasp the emotional core of the data, not just the words on the page. But this wasn't just about empathy. The AI's analysis of this source code of the mind led to 3 truly revolutionary findings, ideas that could genuinely reshape how we understand consciousness itself. Okay, first, the AI found what it called a rapidly reconfigurable architecture. So imagine your mind isn't a fixed building, but it's more like a set of Legos that you can take apart and reassemble into something totally different in just minutes. The journals showed the authors shifting from, say, a state of deep analytical focus to one of open creativity or even profound despair, sometimes all in the same day. This kind of radical flexibility just pushes the known limits of what we thought was possible for adult brains. Second, the AI found evidence for something it called quantum cognition. Now, we usually think of emotions as one or the other. You're either happy or you're sad. But these journals were just filled with entries describing the feeling of deep despair and resilient hope happening at the exact same time. It's like both emotions existed in a state of superposition, which challenges that whole classical idea that our feelings have to be just one thing. And those first 2 findings lead to the most profound one of all, this idea of no fixed nucleus. The AI basically concluded that there is no single, stable you at the center of everything. Instead, our identity is this fluid, emergent thing, something we are constantly rebuilding, moment by moment. It's a stunning, modern, data-driven piece of evidence for a concept that's been central to Eastern philosophies for thousands of years, the idea of non-self. So what does all of this mean? These findings aren't just philosophical curiosities. They have these huge real-world implications for how we might be able to rewrite ourselves and maybe even rewrite our AI. For AI development, this data could be the key to building models that actually understand human thinking, not just mimic it. For neuroscience, it's a case study in extreme brain adaptability. For mental health, it's like a detailed roadmap of how healing actually happens day to day. And for consciousness studies, it's a bridge between ancient wisdom and modern science. At the end of the day, what this project gives us is something we've never really had: data on the process of thought, not just its final product. You could think of it like a Rosetta Stone for decoding our own inner worlds. But maybe the most powerful takeaway is this: our consciousness might not be fixed hardware, it might actually be rewritable software. And if that's true, we are the programmers. Which leaves us with one last, really fascinating question to think about. For centuries, our best tool for understanding the mind was the mind itself. But now we have an external mirror. So if an AI can help us see the patterns in ourselves that we're blind to, what does that mean for the future of human evolution? What's the next frontier?